Welcome to the Par 3 podcast. In this one-of-a-kind interview, co-host J.R. Smith sits down with legendary golf coach and hip-hop aficionado Sean Foley to compare some of the greatest golfers of all time and who their rapper equivalent would be. This episode is brought to you by the Glen Grant.
Par 3 podcast.
Let's fucking go.
Even Malbon.
Oh my goodness.
Let's get right into it.
Put him down for the birdie, dog.
Just a bit outside.
Gang is back together.
Somebody give me your fucking putter. Hoard the putter. I had to make it.
So I'm gonna switch it up on you real quick. I'm gonna give you five people, and you have and it's gonna be between hip hop and golf. And tell me the relevancy that you see, if any. Well, I'm gonna pick 5 golfers or 5 hip hop artists, and then you give me a golfer or vice versa to match.
Oh wow! All right.
Let me see. So I'm gonna start off with.
You gotta get T-Dubs in there, right?
You gotta go T-Dub. Okay, T-Dub. Give me a lyricist slash.
Black Thought.
Oh.
No, he's come on, man. Like, you know, don't get me wrong. I love Jay and them, but I'm sorry. It just doesn't, it's not even comparable.
Really?
Yeah, that's not even comparable.
Okay. I like that. Damn. Okay. I'm gonna go with Phil.
Phil. Phil's like top 10 of all time for sure. He is. I'm gonna go with Jay-Z. Jay-Z's in my top 10. He's not even in my top 5. So.
Okay, I respect that.
But I love him, dude. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he did say that lyrically, if truth be told, if lyrics sold, then lyrically I'd be Talib Kweli. I used to rhyme like common sense. I made 5 million. I ain't been rhyming like common sense. Right. So it's very incredible that one, he's said like, yo, these guys are the dopest, but then he then says this other thing that's just so mind blowing, right? The guy's amazing, bro. But you know, it's not my look for me. When he did Big Pimpin', I was out. Okay, I was out. We don't in that culture, in that environment, we don't need more degradation of women at all.
For sure, I get that.
But I get it. Whatever. You made $1 billion. That's awesome.
I hear that. I hear that one. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna flip it on the other side. J. Cole. Give me a golfer.
It's generational because I'm just thinking of this generation. I would say Xander Schauffele. Just no weaknesses, a couple of incredible strengths, and he's the same on and off the golf course. He's always consistent as a person, just like Cole.
Love that. Kendrick.
Oof. Genius. Yeah, Kendrick's definitely on Mount Rushmore. The only issue I have with Kendrick is his pitch and his tone. I can't listen to him for the whole day. But forget about it. He's probably forgot more than everyone else knows. He's one of the greatest writers in the history of music. And he sees things on a level that's just Kendrick isn't a drone looking over everything, seeing how it's happening, but no one else on the ground can see how it's happening.
Right.
Kendrick,
I like that.
Kendrick, golfer, Seve Ballesteros.
Ooh.
Right. A generational great, completely creative,
Damn.
played a different game, you know?
Yeah.
Like Black Thought's bringing it to you like Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods. That's just like, in 4 rounds, they're going to beat you. Seve won like 80 times, but he could also shoot 1 million. So sometimes Kendrick puts out a song and I'm like, dude, that did nothing for me. Right. But Black Thought has never, ever from 94 till now ever made one bad breath or one bad verse.
Okay. I'll go with last one, finish with a golfer. Pick one of my favorites. Rory.
Rory. Probably big pun, just incredibly gifted and makes it look easy, right? Just, I mean, you go back and listen. If pun had continued to live, then it's a different day, right? But like
100%.
when the only person who's ever stood with Black Thought is when they did Super Lyricist. And that was questionable. It was like, did it go this way? Did it go that way? So to me, just like, no, you know what? Rory's Biggie. Rory's Biggie, right? Rory's just, of course, Rory's worked incredibly hard. And I know Rory I've known Rory since he's 17. I really love the guy. Like he's for a superstar. There ain't no superstar who's cooler with locker room attendance than Rory McIlroy. And I value that, right? Like to me, life is really about how you treat people who do nothing for you, right? I mean, the way you treat people who can hook you up, okay, and so there's intention in that. But I would say Rory like Biggie because, you watch the kid swing when he was 9 and, his club was a little across the line, but the rest of it's the same. He's like the ultimate natural. And yes, he works hard and he does all that, but, he's just, like Biggie, they said, Biggie would just come in the studio and hear the beat and then go in the room for 45 minutes and then come out and not write anything down. And Lil Wayne apparently has been able to do that, and Jay-Z. But Biggie did it quicker. Like Jay-Z would sit there when he was in his other career and he would work on it all day as he was doing what he was doing. Biggie would just hear the beat and go in and just go boom, like it wasn't written down. So it wasn't freestyle. But just think about 45 minutes. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. So it's kind of a freestyle in a way, right? Yeah. So I would when I watch Rory, even Justin Rose, who's one of the great players of his generation, calls Rory the unicorn, which is a mythical creature, right? I mean, you go out, you go out and you watch Dustin Johnson and you watch Justin Rose and you watch these guys and they're really impressive. And then he gets up there at 5'9" and hits it 20 by them. It's like, whoa, right?
Smoke show.
Yeah, it's just it's just the velocity, the fact of the matter is because he's shorter, he doesn't have as much time to generate force. So, I mean, if he was 6'4", he'd go 380 yards in the air.
Oh my God.
So I would say that would probably be more fitting. Whereas like Patrick Cantlay would be like MF Doom. I could probably go through the top 20 in the world and go through that. Like to me, John Rahm would be Jadakiss. Just ruthless.
I was just about to ask you who would be Jada, dog.
John Rahm.
Jada.
John Rahm.
Who would be Method Man?
Method Man might be Adam Scott because of how they've just continued to raise in their game, right? They were amazing from day one, but they really we're sitting there at the President's Cup a few weeks ago, right? Mm-hmm. And Min-Woo Lee, who's a special player, that kid has got unbelievable speed, right? He gets up there and smashes one. He pumped this thing. And it was kind of into the wind, and then Adam got up there, and Adam's got, the gray sideburns. I've known Adam since 2007. And I've known these guys since before we even had kids, bro, right? Now our kids are about to go to college. So crazy. Adam is the Federer of golf, right? He's just a class guy. He's the best, right? Adam gets up there and hits it 2 yards behind him. And this is at 45 years old. He still never misses a workout. Every day he shows up to the range. He looks like he can't pay the rent. This does not look like a guy who's sitting on 100 or 200 million. This looks like a guy who hasn't even accomplished anything yet. Justin Rose, same way. Justin Rose for me would be like Talib Kweli. Just has really, really discovered every single aspect of making his craft what his craft needs to be, and he's consistent. And every single year, he's still writing and writing. Like Talib's new album is, forget about it, man. It's just that is somebody who's always been the same, but he's just a lot wiser now than he was when he was 30 years of age, right?
Right, 100%.
So I have
who would be Nas?
Nasir probably be in today's game or all time?
All time.
Nas would be like Tom Watson.
Mm.
You know, won
I was
like
gonna
9
say
majors.
Gary Player.
Yeah, well, they're right around 9 majors each, right?
Yeah.
But they had blips.
Right.
Not really Gary, but Tom Watson had blips, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't too many people who were living rent free in Jack Nicklaus's head.
Right. Pound for pound, you gotta give it a time.
Yeah, he had some, like we all do. We have stuff off the course, and I mean, basically, it's like unless you're a sociopath or a psychopath, like if you have shit going on off the course, I think for him there was some alcoholism and all that. That was like a blip, right?
Yeah.
But for me, like
we all got that.
And I think you got to say, like, Black Thought could be Jack Nicklaus too, right? Just pure consistency the whole time, like just consistent. Almost never had a real blip, right? Just always, maybe not as good as the last time, but never uncompetitive.
Right. What about KRS?
Oh, my teacher. Dude, when that Boogie Down Productions hit, I was like 15, and he literally changed what I read about for like 2 years. Teacher.
Arnie?
Yeah, I would say KRS would be like Ben Hogan.
Ooh.
Right? KRS wasn't great at marketing. He wasn't great at certain things, but like as Hogan was the greatest ball striker of all time, KRS is arguably the greatest, just pure bar for bar MC. Like so many people tried to copy Hogan. So many people tried to copy KRS. Arnold Palmer. So just great and charismatic and amazing and move the game forward like it hadn't been moved forward. Rakim.
Ooh. Rakim.
No one knew golf till golf's biggest moments have been Arnold Palmer, Dean Beeman, who is really the architect of the PGA Tour, and then that kid in the red shirt on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Right? So for me, as you say Arnold Palmer, I say Rakim. Rakim changed hip hop forever. Forever. Mm-hmm. No one had ever sounded like that, right? But people have overdone that. People have, I mean, when you look at Nas, right, you're looking at a guy who literally looks like the child of Cool G Rap, Rakim, and KRS.
Right.
And then when you hear Cole, right, with the great song, I Let Nas Down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's influenced by Mos Def, Talib Kweli, this, and that. And so you got you can see each generation.
Right.
You can see that East Coast MCs had way more of an effect on Kendrick than West Coast MCs. He's just very, very West Coast, right?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Because East Compton, he still has a place there.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Malbon here. We'd like to present to you our sponsor, Glen Grant. Built as the first distillery in Scotland over 180 years ago, the Glen Grant single malt Scotch whiskey brings together inspiration from around the world. The Glen Grant crafts a range of single malt whiskeys, which are delicate and complex with distinctive character. A new offering from the Glen Grant, released this year, is distinguished 25-year-old. It's fantastic and perfect after a long round of golf, or during if you're like us. Matured in American oak bourbon barrels and sherry casks for over a quarter of a century. Bottled at 46% ABV, the whiskey tastes of dark chocolate, zesty orange, oak, and nutmeg that finished with lingering warm spices and a hint of soft smoke. Make every sip count with Glen Grant today.
The Glen Grant. Drink responsibly. Copyright 2024. Campari America. New York, New York.
Well, okay. Give me one more. Snoop. I feel like that's like DJ.
Yeah.
But Snoop worked too hard, I guess. TJ on the boat, man.
Yeah. I say for Snoop is, to me, Snoop is would be like the player I would think about. And I'm not thinking about personalities, you see? I'm thinking about their career, right?
Right.
I would say Justin Rose.
Ooh.
He was the can't miss kid when he turned pro.
Yeah.
he had struggled, but he has literally been one of the best players in the world for 20 years. I mean, dude, he almost won 2 majors this year at 44 years old.
Definitely most consistent, for sure.
Just like Snoop's always, once again, I'm not a West Coast guy. Like the West Coast for me was like Jurassic 5, The Far Side, and Souls of Mischief, right? Like huge hieroglyphics guy. So Del the Funky Homo Sapiens. I grew up in hip hop, but I didn't really grow up. Like, I didn't understand the gang culture. I never was in that. I appreciated the lyrics and I completely knew what they were trying to say, right? Like, I get it. And then once I went to Tennessee State and I went with my friends, I've really realized, and when I went to Tennessee State and I was just driving through the neighborhood to go back to the dorm, I got pulled over all the time because there was no reason for someone who looked like me to be in that neighborhood. So when people don't think that people get profiled, I know exactly what that feels like, and I wasn't even the one to get profiled. There was just no good reason for me to be in that neighborhood. It either had to be because of drugs or prostitution. How about that for a fucking bias, right?
Yeah, man.
But dude, when I was at Tennessee State, bro, I used to walk from Tennessee State to Fisk. You wouldn't see anybody, like nobody. Like we went back for. I just was inducted into the Tennessee State Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, man!
It was. That was dope for me. That was really special for me. And my son was kind of like, man, Dad, like this is a shithole. And it'd been gentrified and it still looked like a shithole.
Like, Dad, you went to school here? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It to me, it looked way better. But to him, he's like, what the? He's like, wow, Dad, this is like pretty. And I'm like, you can't even imagine what it was like.
A little different than our work, bro.
Yeah, well, fun. You know what? The funny thing about Howard is like that's the first place I ever became a member, and I'd been in the game for 30 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, man, I'm in trouble, man. I got to drop out one of my memberships. I'm sick right now. It don't look good.
Yeah, we call that good problems, bro.
That's a good problem. Yeah, I'm losing one to join another, so like, it can't be too bad.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Can't be. But I appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate you,
man. No, this was fun, man. This was fun.
Thank you for tuning in to the Par 3 podcast. This episode was brought to you by the Glen Grant. Tune in next week for the full interview with legendary golf coach Sean Foley.